Hello, and welcome to day 17 of the Music Focus course. All right, so yesterday we talked about creating your mastermind. Again, what is a mastermind? A mastermind is when two or more people come together to accomplish a similar goal. And they move forward and they help each other, they inspire each other. Cool. So yesterday we focused on identifying those people who will be in your mastermind. And we focus on first the 5 people for your specific goal that you want to achieve by day 30. But then also optionally, as an optional thing, you could include other people who could help you in different areas of your life. So today we're going to build on that. So now we're not just going to have that list of people, but now we're going to actually ask them a question. We're going to get them to help us. And hopefully this helps them as well. So what are you going to do today? Let's dive right on into the focus tasks. So today we're going to ask our mastermind a question. And what I've found is that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your communication with yourself and with the world. I mean, and just think about that for a moment. Think about when you communicate with yourself and when you're telling yourself negative things, how do you feel? Negative, right? When you interpret things that happen to you as a negative way, you feel bad. But when good things happen to you, or even if neutral things happen, but you interpret it as a positive, how do you feel? And a perfect example would be this coronavirus. So when the coronavirus first hit, I was feeling really frustrated. Oh, this just threw a wrench in my business, threw a wrench in my life. But when I began to see that the coronavirus is not just this horrible, terrible thing, but it's actually has provided an opportunity, I've been able to see this not as this horrible thing, but actually one of the best things that's happened to me and one of the best things that happened to my business. Not that the coronavirus itself is something that I'm happy about, but the fact that we're all here staying at home has provided an opportunity for me to rethink the way I run my business, rethink the way I add value to you, rethink the way I live my daily life, right? So the way I communicate, the way I interpret with myself affects how I feel, and the way I communicate with other people affects the rest of my life, right? So if I'm not communicating well with my wife, obviously there's going to be a breakdown and we're going to have a fight and it's not going to be good. But if I learn how to communicate and I do communicate well with my wife, things go much smoother, much better. So again, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your communication with yourself and with those around you. Now, communication can include words, but it also includes actions. Like I know my wife, her love language is acts of service. So it's not enough to just tell her that I love her. She wants me to show her with signs to do something that makes her life easier, like take out the trash, clean up my son Xavier, do things around the house, do things that make her life easier, right? So communication is not just about saying things with your words. It's actually all that is entailed in giving and receiving to other people. So it includes the words you use, it includes the actions you do, acts of service. It includes physical touch. It includes, giving gifts, being present, giving quality time. All those things are ways in which you can be communicating with yourself and the world around you. So, but today, in terms of communication, I want to focus on questions. I found that the quality of my questions that I ask myself and others is a very powerful determiner of how I go about living my life, right? So if my question to the world is, why me? Like this coronavirus happened and, I had to move all my lessons online. If I'm asking myself, why me? Why did this happen? What's that going to lead to? There's only one thing that can lead to. That can only lead to negative thoughts, negative feelings, and negative results. So instead, what if I can ask a high quality question of, okay, since this is what's happening, this is the corona crisis, what can I do to make the best of the situation? What can I do today? What can I do to serve my students? What can I do to make my business better than it was before? Okay, so these are the type of questions that I can ask that are going to lead me down a completely different path and are going to lead me towards the goals that I want. So if you want to reach your most important goals, it's important that you ask yourself and others higher quality questions that are going to lead you naturally to accomplish those goals. Because when you ask a question, what happens is your brain starts trying to come up with the answer. And so if you're asking questions that are going to lead to a negative outcome, that's what your mind is going to think about. Okay. But if you ask questions that can lead to a positive outcome, again, you're getting your brain to work for you. So what we're going to do, how this exercise is going to work, it's going to be similar to yesterday, but with one little change. So just quick review. Yesterday, what you did is you identified 5 people who can help you achieve your goals. Then you identified 1 to 5 people who can help you with your relationship goals, then health goals, financial goals, and your musical goals. So we're gonna do the same thing. So the only thing you have to do is number 1. The rest of these focus tasks are completely optional. All right, so focus task 1. You're going to ask 1 question to 5 people who can help you achieve your 30-day goal from day 1. Okay, so here's how this is gonna work. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes right now, and I'm gonna do this with you. I'm gonna come up with a question too. You're gonna identify a high quality question, and then you're going to actually predict how you think those people would respond to that question, and then you're gonna actually ask them, okay? So right now, all we're gonna do is identify the high quality question, okay? So I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to come up with a good question. If you come up with the question quickly, then you can start predicting their answer, but I think it's probably gonna take you 2 minutes to come up with, at least 2 minutes to come up with a really good high quality question. And if you think you have a good question, think you can come up with a better one. Think how can you make that question that you asked better? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, you've got 2 minutes on the clock and go. Keep going. Oh man, this is tough. Coming up with a good question. Again, you got 1.5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. Okay, so again, this was definitely a challenging one. Um, it's not as easy as people might think to ask a high quality question. So again, I was making sure that you had just 1 question to ask the 5 people. So what's 1 question that you could ask today, tomorrow, to those 5 people who you trust to help you reach your goal? So here's what I said. Okay, so I said, I actually came up with a few questions. I'm not actually sure which one of them is the best. So first I said, okay, what can I do today? Okay, what do you think I should focus on today? What will I focus on today? And then I just changed to, what do you think would make music lessons better? So I think that that's probably the one I'm gonna go with because my two goals for by day 30 are, number one is to make music lessons at J-Ro better, and number two is to record my song God Loves You, You're Not Alone. So I decided to ask the question, what do you think would make music lessons better? If I want to improve it, maybe it would be good to get their perspective of what do you think would make the lessons better than they already are? And I actually think that the people who I identified yesterday would be helpful with that. So I could ask my wife, Leo, like, what do you think, could make music lessons better at J-Ro? Hey, Spencer, one of my instructors, what do you think would make lessons better at J-Ro? Cameron, what do you think? Richard, Aaron, what do you think? And then I could also just, put myself there too. I could ask myself, what do I think? So I know if I were to ponder on this question, like, what do I think would actually make music lessons better? I could come up with something. And I know if I asked my wife and at least gave her some time to think about it, she would have something. So what you're going to do now is you're going to actually come back to your question, and if you don't have a question, then stop the recording until you have a chance to come up with a question. Experiment. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just come up with a question that you think would help you get closer to your goals. And then what I want to do right now is I want you to predict, like, what do you think that 1 to 5 of those people would say? So I'm just going to focus on what I think my wife Leah would say. If I get time, I'll think about what Spencer and Cameron and Richard. But for right now, I just want you to predict what one of those people on your list will say. How would they answer your question? Here we go. 2 minutes. 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, I'm going to stop you. Cool. Okay, so this was actually quite helpful. So I was thinking from my wife's perspective, like, what would she say would make music lessons better at J-Ro? It also made me think of a higher quality question. And I could ask one or both of these questions. So while I was thinking, what came to mind, I was like, my wife's very structured. She likes order. So she would say, Josh, I think the lessons would be great if you create a structure, account for each minute. You tell your students, tell them what you're going to tell them like what this lesson's going to be about, and then teach them, and then tell them what you told them. Do a review, a recap of what you learned today. Give them technical support. So she might really come from the perspective of making sure things are structured. Now, lessons at J-Ro are structured, but there are things I can do even more to make there even more of a clear structure, so that students know what to expect with each lesson, and they know what they're going to be getting, and they're going to know that they got the value. Okay, so but while I was writing these down, another question came into mind, which is, what would an ideal music lesson look like for you? So that's a different type of question. So asking my Leah, what would an ideal music lesson look like for you? Okay, now that's changed the conversation a little bit, because that's asking her to think from her perspective, like, what would she really like to see in a music lesson? What would she imagine? What would she want to get? What would she want to receive during a music lesson, right? So asking one or both of those questions is going to help me to assess how can I actually make these music lessons better at J-Ro, okay? So moving on. So that was the only required task for today. Now, for number 2, 3, 4, and 5, what you can do is you can choose to take some time today and see if you can do the same thing for your relationship goals, for your health goals, for your financial goals, for your musical goals. So for example, yesterday I came up with some people who could help me with my relationship goals. Like, who do I think could help me be a better man, be a better husband, all those things. I can come up with one question for them. So maybe it could be similar. Like, what do you think I could do to be a better husband? Right? Maybe that's the question. Like, what could I do, or what would an ideal husband do? That could be a question that I could ask, my mastermind, in terms of how to become better in my relationships, right? And the same thing for my health goals. I could ask my health mastermind, what do you think I could do to become more healthy today? I can ask my financial mastermind, what do you think I can do to become more financially fit today? And I could ask my musical mastermind, what do you think I can do to become a better musician today? Okay. So to be clear, your 5 focus tasks today, only one is required. So number 1 is ask 5 people who can help you achieve your 30-day goal. Okay. So just one question. And what I want you to do is I want you to identify the question, predict what their answers would be, and then actually ask them. Okay. Now, I guess you could say it's extra credit if you actually ask them a question, but I would recommend actually reaching out to those 5 people you identified and asking them that question. Now, remember, in number 2 through 5, I said that you can have people on your mastermind who you might not actually have any contact with. They might be famous people. They might be people who are not even alive anymore. So you will not actually be able to ask those people, most likely, your questions, but you could look through their books, look through YouTube videos, see if you could find any information that might help you predict what their answer would be to your specific question. So again, to kind of recap today, we focused on the quality of your communication, because the quality of your communication determines the quality of your life. And that starts with the questions that you ask yourself and the world. So today you're consulting your mastermind by identifying high quality questions, predicting their answer, which helps you develop some empathy, and then asking them the question. Actually ask them this question and see how what you predicted they would say and what they actually said. See how they align. Are they similar? Are they different? And that's going to help you understand more about yourself. It's going to help understand more about those people around you. And it's going to get you one step closer to your most important goals. That is all I have for you. Thank you so much for joining the Music Focus course today. Again, this course is totally free. And I love making it free so you can just go through this class, become better, become the best version of yourself. And if you want to support my mission to help you achieve your most important goals, you're more than welcome to donate by going to jropro.com/donate, jropro.com/focus. If you want to donate, thank you so much. And I will use your resources that you send me to make this course better for you. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye.